Now let me call on Andrew Rehfeld.
What a really a powerful testimony to a life too short and yet so very full. Congratulations to all of the award winners this evening. And I also want to add that the Mirowitz School is that right, Marcy? The Mirowitz School will be setting up a Cheryl Mayan fund into which that honorarium will go, and we'll be able to support, if you would like to contribute in honor of Cheryl's achievement. Cheryl, congratulations and thank you. Thank you all for coming this evening. This has already been a long night after a truly momentous day for our country. The building opened, Michael, the building opened. This is my 7th annual meeting, and it's the first one in our building, and let me just say, it is so good to be home. 33 years ago, I began a 3-month program in the city of Tzfat in northern Israel. The program was called Livnot Ulehibanot, which means to build and to be built. The idea was that building and being built go hand in hand. So much of our Jewish history embodies that idea, that in building Sukkot, that is temporary dwellings in the desert, our people came to be built as a people. In building the state of Israel, our people became to be built as a modern nation. And when the Federation helps others build lives of dignity, meaning, and purpose, we are building our own community upon Jewish values that remain so important to us. Livnot ulehibanot, to build and to be built. What an appropriate idea to describe this past year as we enter this new building at the Federation. For we not only transformed the building this past year, the process transformed us, and us along with it, each now representing the values of transparency, of warmth, of collaboration, and excellence towards which we are all striving. There can be no better illustration of the collaborative partnership than the agreement with the Jewish Light to achieve a free subscription model that Jerry mentioned earlier. I just want to urge you all to make sure that this happens by signing up this evening in the Selden Lounge if you haven't already. I want to thank also Steve Gallant, the Light Board Chair, and Scott Perzan, the Executive Director, again. A second illustration, as Jerry also mentioned, and to reinforce again, is the Sababa, Jewish Cultural Arts Festival that we will be beginning. Thanks to the leadership of Alyssa Duell and Diane Balber, and the professional leadership of Stacey Smart, Rabbi Brad Horowitz, we've put together a dynamic Jewish Arts and Cultural Festival Sunday, October the 14th, 11 to 6 p.m. on the campus of WashU, right in front of the Olin School of Business. Now, Alyssa, was that for the Olin School of Business or Sababa? All right. And in terms of partnership, this past year we saw a recommitment of our board and our organization to Yokneam and Megiddo, our partnership in Israel, the region. There's so much that's going on in Israel that is transforming our community that we cannot lose sight of our commitment to the people, the purpose, and the very ideals that Zionism has always meant. And I want to thank and recognize my predecessor, Barry Rosenberg, who was here this evening. I'm not sure if he still is, along with Tom Green of blessed memory that started that partnership. The Zimmermans who are here or were here also contributed mightily to making sure that happened. We are renewing that partnership, and we will see that again. I believe it is through people-to-people connections that we will continue to move the needle and recommit our community to Israel despite all of the challenges we're facing. The building has indeed rebuilt us into a community development organization where our success depends on collaboration with our agencies, our congregations, and our community that we are here to serve. You can't build a sukkah or a building without materials, and you can't buy materials without dollars. Again, I want to thank Gloria Feldman, Michael and Carol Steinberg, the Kransberg family for their investments that enabled our renovation. As I said earlier this evening, there is still more to do, and I mean this seriously for each of you. There are opportunities to add your name to the story of our community through the history of this facility. And one of the things on your seats is an opportunity. If you're so inclined, please have a conversation with me. Julie Gibbs is in the back. We would love to add your name to any of the spaces here as a way to support our work. 2017 saw the third consecutive year of sustained real growth in our annual campaign, something that we don't believe we've achieved in over 40 years. Even more important than the $10.1 million annual campaign that we raised is that we raised a total of about $25 million in targeted funds plus the campaign, the most we have ever raised in a single year. I want to thank in particular the transformational philanthropy of Michael and Carol Steinberg, who last year became our community's first $1 million donor to the campaign. Michael and Carol, thank you for that leadership. I want to also thank every one of you in this room whose name appears not only in the books that are sitting under you or under your seat or in your hands with donor recognition that contributed to the annual campaign, but whose names every year will be updated on the donor wall that, thanks to Brown Smith Wallace and Harvey Wallace, we've been able to install in just outside. I want to take a moment to thank the leadership of our development team, Julie Gibbs, Director of Major Gifts and Affinity Groups, Lori Wishney, Director of Planned Giving, and Joel Frankel, our campaign manager, for your extraordinary work. You have led a staff that has been insistent and nonstop, and we're in the middle of the 2018 campaign, and I'm only thanking you for what you did for last year. Thank you. Could you please join in thanking them, staff? The success of our fundraising really owes back to Tim Stearns taking this on about 3.5 years ago as vice chair of the campaign. Tim, wherever you are, I saw you here before, but thank you for stepping up before, thank you for continuing to go on, and thank you for your masochistic commitment to serving a fourth and final term as our vice chair of the campaign. Bob Newmark and Bonnie Solomon are the last two lay leaders in terms of our fundraising. Bob in terms of planned gifts, and Bonnie Solomon as chair of Women's Philanthropy. Critically important to achieving these results. Finally, I want to thank Michael Oberlander, who as Chief Philanthropy Officer oversees both the development team and the community impact team. Michael had to be in Israel with his family over the holiday this year. I usually don't say that with such sadness. Michael had to be in Israel over the holidays. This may be his first annual meeting in over 20 years that he has missed. As Chief Philanthropy Officer, he has overseen both the development and community impact teams that have been charged with implementing our strategic plan. Thank you, Greg Yawitz, as well, and Les Sturman, who works with him, who as vice chairs were integral to those achievements as well. Could we have a hand for all of those who participated? Now, I mentioned a moment ago that you may have seen the installation of our new donor wall outside. It was made possible by Harvey Wallace and Brown Smith Wallace. The plaques on the donor wall are the shoulders upon which this community stands, reflecting the lifetime contribution of donors, families, and foundations of $1 million or more of lifetime investments in the Federation. We're designing a very special evening to honor and recognize each one of those names, your families and the foundations, next spring in a personal and intimate event. But I would like to now publicly recognize all of you who are here, whose name or family name appears on that roll. Would you please rise so our community can formally thank you for your incredible and sustained investments that have sustained our community. Please take a moment and join together and stand. Michael, I see you. Gloria, Steinbergs, thank you all. Please stay standing. Lee, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Now, our volunteers and staff have achieved a great deal this past year. I want to recognize 3 achievements in particular. First, I'm pleased to announce that Marilyn Fox is the St. Louis 2019 Women's Philanthropy Kipnis Wilson Freeland Award winner and will be honored at the upcoming International Lion of Judah Conference in Florida this January. It's actually the 2018 award, I apologize. This award recognizes women who exemplify the spirit of the Lion of Judah by proven commitment to the Jewish community through leadership and philanthropic giving. Marilyn couldn't be with us tonight, but I want to thank I'd like us all to thank her for that achievement, and congratulations. Nancy, I hear you. Second, I want to recognize the extraordinary professional contributions of one individual in particular. I don't see him here right now. I know he was here earlier, and that's Stephen Cohen. Stephen announced a year ago that he would be retiring from the Federation at the end of this calendar year. While we will have a chance later this fall to honor his 25 years of service to the Federation and our community, I want to congratulate him on being recognized, not only with his service, but on being recognized with the Doctor of Jewish Nonprofit Management, honoris causa, by Hebrew Union College over this last year. It's extraordinary recognition for an extraordinary career. Is Stephen here? Did not see him. But thank you for your service, and I hope that you will thank him for that. Finally, I want to recognize the leadership of Myrna Meyer, Ted Isaacs, and Carol Steinberg, who, along with Gene Cavender and Don Hannon, significantly advanced the project made possible through the philanthropy of Gloria Feldman of re-envisioning our Holocaust Museum and Learning Center. That museum has been going full bore for 25 years, serves tens of thousands of individuals, bringing to them the lessons and the memory of our survivors, and it's going to do that, and even more so. Jean Cavender was awarded just this past year the NCCJ Award for her contributions and leadership. So I want to thank Jean in particular, and congratulations to all of you for the museum, and so much more yet to come. Leave note to Lehibanot. To build is to be rebuilt. And this rebuilding takes a lot of staff effort. I want to thank again Diana Mathis, our project manager, and Mike Weaver, our facilities manager. Each of them kept our staff moving forward with clear communication, good humor, and constant information. You are both the engine of this transformation and the reason that we are still able to smile when we come into this building. And finally, I have to say thank you to our Chief Operating Officer, Don Hannon. Where is Don? Don is sitting in the bleacher seats out there. I see him through the window. Don has brought to the Federation such a high degree of competence and management ability, both management of projects and of people. It's really extraordinary. It's difficult to imagine that this project would have been completed without him. Though he came from the for-profit world, he is still trying to figure out just exactly what he's supposed to do with all of you who want to have a say in the work that only he's responsible for. Don has managed to recognize the value of process, of volunteer and donor buy-in, and cultivate it, still getting everything done in so exceptional a way that needs doing without sacrificing either his professionalism or his integrity. Don, thank you for your service, for your friendship, and your continued commitment to our community. There's one other achievement that Don achieved along with Emily McLean, our controller. This year we were awarded the 4-star charity designation from Charity Navigator, their highest endorsement. It recognizes our commitment to transparency, accountability, and fiscal excellence. Though Don's still not figured out how to manage his boss, for whom the word deadline has no meaning, I again am grateful for that partnership. Our community is truly fortunate to have you both at the helm. In addition to Don and Emily, I want to thank the other members of our management team and recognize them for their service to the Federation and our community. I realize as I'm going to say that, they're going to stand because they're all in the atrium out in the back because they are servant leaders. But I'm going to say it, you can stand anyway. Dawn Beasley, our HR manager. Gene Cavender, director of our Holocaust Museum and Learning Center. Would you let me just say the names first? Stephen Cohen, Vice President of Special Projects, Sarah Levinson, Director of the St. Louis NORC, Cindy Levy, Director of the Center for Jewish Learning, Karen Scher, Director of Community Engagement, Nancy Tully, Senior Director of Marketing, who's standing actually in the back of this room, who along with her team deserves thanks for this meeting, that celebration, and all the terrific materials you have in front of you. Thank you, Nancy, and your team for your service. And finally, to Tara Mann, my executive assistant, who, see, they know how she suffers, so who jumped into her role less than a year ago and is already keeping me on track and heading in the right direction. Tara, thank you for your professionalism and your hard work. All community organizations depend upon a close working partnership between volunteers and professionals. Jerry, you have made this year a year of possibility and of achievement, of shared struggle as we faced our real challenges and realized plans, as the strategic plan that you developed first in your role as Vice Chair of Strategic Planning was implemented. I am so looking forward to even more great things in the year ahead. As I close, I do want to thank the rest of our staff, particularly for this past year. The last 365 days have been filled with noise, dust. Was it dust or dirt? Dust. See, I can hear it from out there. And inconvenience. More importantly, they have been filled with your patience, your good spirit, and your ability to see ahead what was yet to come. Thank you for being such amazing colleagues as the drilling and digging, the grinding and welding became the white noise of this past year. If you are on staff of Federation, and I haven't specifically acknowledged you, not on our management team or otherwise said your name, would you stand, and at least we will see in the back of our heads and recognize you to be recognized. Would you join in thanking the entire staff? I started with a thank you to each of you for your commitment, your energy, your volunteerism, your willingness to invest your resources. I also have to thank the people that have invested the most resources this past year, and that is my own family. I want to recognize again my mother, Beverly, my wife, Miggy Greenberg, my daughter, Emma Greenberg Rehfeld, who I hope is watching through those cameras right now, streaming, who is in New York, having started her first job. And finally, Corbin Sprayberry, the girlfriend of the final person, Hoban Greenberg Rehfeld. Many of you know Hoban because he now works at Brio. This has not only been a year for them of support of me and the work that I've done, but it was so important. Today is a special day. We held it on this meeting today in the rededication because it's Hoban's birthday. So would you join me in saying, happy birthday, Hoban? I appreciate that. Leave note to Lehibanot. To build is to be rebuilt. The Federation, like our new Kaplan-Feldman complex, is built to serve the community as an open, collaborative, and transparent organization. And through that service, we are built to do the work that we are here to do. We are built to be a place that draws people in and welcomes the stranger. We're here to serve. We are here to support. We are here for children. We're here for seniors. We are here for each and every one of us, no matter your orientation, your gender, your race, your creed, to reinforce the things that matter to us, our Jewish tradition, our values, our people, and our community. In short, we are here for good. Thank you all for your support and your partnership. Here's to a great year ahead. Please join me in welcoming Jerry for the final act of this meeting. So close. Just have to join for dessert in the library.
So one of my goals as board chair was to confine this program at our annual meeting to within an hour. I think, Nancy, I think we're within the margin of error, so we've done it. Thank you all. I hereby adjourn the 117th annual meeting. We hope you'll continue to tour and enjoy the newly remodeled building, the Kaplan-Feldman complex, and have some dessert. Thank you all for coming.